There was three stocks that I brought up in yesterday's video: Tesla, DJT, and the NASDAQ market, and today they are all in the green. But it's not looking like all of them are actually holding at these levels. So I quickly wanted to provide you guys a little update. I really hope that you learned something new, and if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. So we just wrapped up our live trading session with the LPP team. You get to watch me trade live every morning, and I get to share my open thoughts because, again, right at market open is where most beginner traders begin to take trades. Tesla seems to be the only one that is actively uptrending out of the three. Tesla doesn't really surprise me that it's gapping up, again, due to Elon's endorsement of Trump. You could see why the market might see that as somewhat of a positive news, especially if Trump ends up actually winning the overall presidential election. With that being said, Tesla is actively progressing above the moving average, above the EMA, and actively showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. So it's a really good setup for Tesla. When it comes down to DJT, not so much. From right when the market opened, this thing gapped up to highs of $54.84. And since gapping up, the hype has been fading. I want to remind you, just like we talked about DJT yesterday, DJT is not a good quality company. It is a hyped up stock. Fundamentally, it is a shit company. It does not perform well. All opinions aside of if you like Trump or if you don't, it makes sense on why it gapped up, right? He survived an assassination attempt. He's most likely winning in the polls, and he's most likely going to be winning the presidential election according to how the market's currently reacting. With that being said, this is a positive catalyst that tends to be short-lived. Just kind of like when Roaring Kitty sends out a tweet and it creates a mass flow of demand to gap the stock up for a short period of time. I see this to be no different, right? It's a short-lived positive catalyst that most likely won't last more than just a few days. With that being said, this is why it's super important to understand when to take profits, as that would have taken place already, to potentially short this stock. But shorting comes at a much greater form of risk, so please do not choose to short this stock if you have no experience actively shorting or managing and mitigating risk. You can see that this thing is trading now below the moving average and showing signs of lower highs and lower lows. It is showing signs of weakness, lack of progress on its recovery. And anytime that it does try to recover, it doesn't last or hold for a very long period of time. Everything about this is showing signs of weakness. If all of a sudden something gets announced and maybe brings more demand to something like DJT, then that could really change things up. But as of right now, it's looking very weak and very bearish. Just because it's up 30-40% doesn't mean that it's a buy. Remember, it's all about price action and direction. This is the mistake a lot of beginner traders make, is they think because a stock is green that you should buy it, or because it's green a lot that it has to continue to uptrend. No. You could have missed the rally already. And from this point, right, it was up over 50%. Now it's only up 32%. That means that it's lost 20%. Think about that, right? It's not just about it being green. Is it showing signs of progress while in the green? And the only progress it's making here is on the downside. So with that being said, DJT is extremely bearish right now and very, very risky because of how much it gapped up and now the potential for it to gap down. Just something that I wanted to bring awareness to. NASDAQ, it's not that it's not showing signs of progress, it's just not making signs or showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. It's holding and it's testing resistance, but it's really slow, and it doesn't really surprise me that it's trading this way. It's not out of the three, DJT, Tesla, and NASDAQ, it's probably the one that I find to be the least attractive, because at least if DJT ends up selling off, you can short it and make some money. With NASDAQ, if it continues to trade this way, no one wants to trade 0.25% of potential profit, right? Margins are just too slim, and it just doesn't make much sense. With something like DJT, if it does begin to recover, 8%, 14% upside, and if it does begin to sell off and direction becomes clear, just back to previous lows, this would be about an 8% sell off. If it continues to sell off, much more than that, right? So it's just understanding where not only direction is presenting itself, but where opportunity is present. And out of the three, I see that to be more with DJT and Tesla. Tesla seems to be the safer bet because price action and direction are more bullish. So as long as that is true, Tesla is going to be the safer play. But DJT, extremely volatile, extremely risky, but really, really healthy margins. So again, probably just comes with a little bit more experience that is needed to successfully trade DJT. But I love talking to you guys about it because again, you guys all have different experience levels. And I think that's super important to point out that, make sure that you trade within your range of experience, but also don't be afraid to watch other stocks just to see how they're trading. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this little update. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you are trading and what your trade plan actually ends up being, right? I would love to not just be aware of what stocks you're choosing to take advantage of, but what trade plan you are creating to actually come out on top. So I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. If you want to tune on in, do not overcomplicate it. It's the second link in the description down below, and I'll see you at market open for our live session. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.